Hi, Jeff Cook here. Okay, today we're going to look at some tips for playing the guitar. Now, this is largely aimed at beginners, but if you've been playing for a while, some of these tips might actually be useful. Okay, it's all about how to hold your hand, how to hold the pick, and general posture as you play the guitar. Okay, first thing we're going to look at, really important thing this is how to hold your pick. A lot of people do this in some very different ways. Now, not all of those are wrong, but here's probably the most common way and probably one of the most useful ways you can actually hold your pick and play the guitar. Okay, so first thing to do is to take your pick in your left hand. Hold it by the pointy end, okay? Now take your right hand and bend the fingers under like this. Put your pick on this part of the finger here, okay? So near towards the end of your finger. And then you're going to put your thumb on top of the pick like that. Now have a look at how much pick is actually showing there. Not too much. We don't want to see this because that pick is going to flex and flap about, and that's not going to make it very easy to play. Okay, so make sure it's nice and tight in there. Okay, the next thing with the pick, make sure it's pretty much straight onto the string. So like this. A lot of people try it like that, which is great for going that way, but when we go this way, it sticks under the string. Not particularly good. Same thing here, if we go that way, doesn't work very well and it makes a pretty nasty noise when the pick actually finally breaks its way through the string. We're not trying to fight our way through the string, we're trying to glide the pick across the string like this. One of the things about picking that a lot of people either don't realise or don't do, especially when they're beginners, is what we call bracing. Now most people try to pick like this. Now clearly that works, but what we'll notice is that the pick is kind of bouncing off the strings. There isn't a lot of control over how much movement you're getting with the pick and with your wrist. Okay, so what we do is we put a finger or fingers down on the guitar to help actually brace the hand so that the movement of the hand is much more controlled. Okay, so I can swing backwards and forwards, but this pinky on the guitar here is actually acting as a brace to stop the hand just generally flapping about aimlessly. It also helps us to find the strings without looking. So if I want to go from across the strings like that, I don't need to look at it, I can feel where they are because I've got my finger as a point of reference. Okay, now for young children, they may not be able to reach that far. So it's quite okay if they put their fingers on the strings of the guitar when they're playing these higher strings. And then when they get down here, they can put the fingers on the body of the guitar. It's a really crucial thing to picking, and generally most guitar playing, except really for strumming. Strumming is the only time when your hand actually moves quite freely, like that. Okay, for most of the things, We want to brace the hand. It gives us a lot more control over what we're doing. Okay, we'll talk more about that in the next video, which is going to be about picking practice. So that's your pick hand. Okay, how about the left hand? Right, position, really important. A lot of people, when they put their hands on the guitar, immediately go like this. Okay, your wrist is right up here, kind of in line with the neck, your thumb's over the top, and your fingers are like that. Okay, most people think that's a good way to play, but not really. Later on you're going to experience problems with that. One of the biggest problems is that your reach isn't very big. By that I mean that if you want to play something that involves a big stretch like this, you're not going to be able to do it with your hand up here. I physically can't do that. I can't play it like that. Okay? When I put my thumb behind the back of the neck and I let my wrist drop down below the neck like this, then I can reach a nice big stretch there. I can reach all of these notes. Now you may not be able to do that as a beginner. You may only be able to reach 3 or 4 frets up the guitar, but as time goes on, your fingers will stretch to accommodate. So again, let's reiterate what we've done there. Drop your wrist down, keep your thumb at the back of the neck, like this. Don't do this with your thumb. This is happening an awful lot with beginners, as they do that. What that does is that pushes your hand this way, so that your fingers are just about reaching round. If my thumb is flat on the back of the neck, I can now reach over the top. Okay, so this is another tip. Fingertips only on the strings. Don't want to see people playing with the flat of the fingers. Especially when we're playing chords, that becomes a problem. Okay, so if I play a C chord here, playing with my fingertips. If I try and play like this, half of the notes don't come out properly, because what's happening is this finger, for instance, is touching the next string. So the next string sounds like this, instead of like that. Okay, for those doing the G4 guitar method, starting on the 3 note chords with one finger, so the one finger chords I should say, playing 3 strings at once. Really important to get your hand like this. Notice the large amount of space between my hand and the neck. Okay? We don't want to be holding on like that. That creates problems later on too. So all the chords like this. Okay. Now again, we'll look at this more when we go on to the chord skills. These are just general tips. Okay, now posture. Now you'll notice I'm sitting with the guitar, sitting on my right leg. This is a good way to play, but many people find it easier, especially when beginning, to play with their foot on a footstool. Okay, so I'm going to put my footstool there. Raises up the left leg, and then we put the guitar there, so that it's actually resting on the left leg, which is raised up on the footstool. The right leg goes back a little bit. We need a good straight back chair or something like that to sit on. Posture's nice and straight, back straight, shoulders relaxed. Okay. This sitting position actually puts the neck of the guitar in a nice angled position, angling up. The worst position for a guitar player is to have the neck pointed down. If we point the neck down, we're going to be reaching down like this. Really hard to play like that, because your hands and your arm are all stretched out and it really reduces your reach. So here's a good position. Okay, there we go. A nice, easy position. Thumb at the back of the neck again. Fingertips on the strings. Okay, lovely. Let's have a look at the next video, which is going to be picking practice. See you soon.